Hi, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a blog post called Allowing What Isn't to Disappear. You have made fear foremost in your sight, and ego tells you that you must keep looking at it in order to remain safe. Ego is what isn't. It is the call of the separate personality structure. It is the call of the unreal. We encourage you to think of ego not just as your ego or that other guy's ego, but as a perceptual grid laid upon a joyous reality. As you choose to look through this lens of the perceptual grid, you see all beings as separate, vulnerable, and capable of harm. You see them in a world that can be harmed and that can harm the beings upon it. The ego is the strife grid, and you only ever look through the lens of the strife grid by choice. You made fear foremost in your sight through willingness to see and experience what isn't in the form of a dream, and you can allow what isn't to recede into the background and to disappear at will. This is your superpower, and the superpower equally available in every moment to every character playing a role here. In other words, your focus determines your experience. We are with you in every moment to assist you in refocusing and to help you stay in touch with the fact that the power of refocusing is your own. It is a power that can never be blocked. This process happens gradually because trying to take away what you still believe you need simply elicits more fear. So when you find you are unhappy for any reason, stop. You need your superpower now. You don't need more effort or a list of things to do or a drive to accomplish. Seeming accomplishments in the world can be carried out effortlessly through you if you remember to stop every time you experience unhappiness. The good news is that your unhappiness is always your responsibility and never your fault. Your unhappiness can never be the fault of any other, of any government, of any seeming defect anywhere, of any seeming limitation imposed from without. Your happiness is always available to you, and it is directly related to your ability to refocus. How do you refocus? Send out a simple call. It is always very simple. Help me to focus upon that which brings me and all others happiness. Simply stop and ask for help because help is what surrounds you in every moment, and you are always fully worthy of it. In order to receive help, you must drop your focus on the storyline for a moment, the storyline that seems to be causing such trouble in your perception. We have a secret to share. The storyline doesn't mean anything, but it seems to be very meaningful, doesn't it? It seems to determine your next action. How about this? How about you allow all actions to come from happiness itself and not from an attachment to and judgments about the storyline? When you are judging and reacting to a storyline, you assign your character tasks, and those tasks often seem heavy. All of this is unnecessary. Simply drop the storyline on a regular basis whenever there is tension, ask for help, and allow the character to be guided that way. Allow the character to be guided through the story by a control that has always been beyond the story, and there is your effortlessness. If you stay in the state that allows the character to be guided by reactivity to the story, you will feel intense unhappiness, and that is a very good thing. When you allow yourself to feel the depth of unhappiness that being guided by reactivity and judgment brings, you are very open to another way, a happier way. Fear must be given up, and by you. No one else does it for you. You have been accustomed to looking through the perceptual grid of strife, to relating as an ego to other egos. It's time for the structure of all of that to break down now. As perceptual structures break down, remember that it is joy that their breakdown reveals. Whatever you have been clinging to tightly in terms of concepts, it is that very thing that blocks the awareness of the joy you are. Affirm this: I am open to radical perception change. Energetically speaking, here is what this is like. You are like a patient about to go into surgery. There is some trepidation, but also a great desire for the relief the surgery will bring. In this surgery, however, you offer up that which you do not need. You give it away, and the one acting as surgeon cuts not at all. The one who escorts you into relief simply takes from you what you do not need. As this energetic surgeon takes it from you, you watch as it dissipates into nothing at all, and then you both laugh. In giving up fear, you give up the separate personality structure. The separate personality structure brings nothing but pain and the urge to struggle. You don't need it. It is outmoded technology. You can walk around seemingly here with a name and an address, having surrendered the separate personality structure. Indeed, it is the only way to still appear upon the planet in happiness. Remember that you are not being asked to hand over anything that is real. You are not being asked to hand over your personality, what you perceive as yourself. There will be a self interacting with other selves. You are being asked to allow that perceptual grid of separation to lift and disappear. Would you like to see everything beautifully? Would you like your perception to be loving all of the time? Is there any bit of the story you have to stop and control first before you allow your perception to show you the beauty you and all always have been? In giving up dependence on the figment of fear, you give up what never was, what isn't. The perceptual grid has never been real, so you might as well allow it to lift and disappear. The amazing part of this is when you see that it was never real. It seems so real when you are clinging to this weight, this heavy burden, but the perceptual grid of ego actually has no substance at all. We are by your side as you allow what never has been to leave your sight, and we celebrate because eternal joy is our nature and your own. Thanks for listening.